But what's really amazing is look what happened under Biden. The lowest income group lost income under Biden. They were poor 4 years after Biden's presidency. No gain virtually whatsoever for the middle class. And the rich was the only group that did better under Biden, which is ironic because Biden keeps saying he was trying to get rid of income inequality. He made income inequality worse, not better. It was President Trump that reduced income inequality.
These are just made up numbers. Like you said, there's never been seen. Let me see the numbers.
Numbers just came out, by the way.
Just came out. Yeah, of course. Thanks. Stop telling us that because we know.
These are the numbers just I just showed you in percentage terms. Mr. President, these are the numbers in dollar terms. So even the lowest income, 25th percent, gained about $4,000 in income. That's a lot for a lower income family. $6,400 for the middle class and almost $10,000.
So this guy stands in the White House and tells us the exact opposite of what's really happening. He tells you that people struggling to pay rent saw their incomes fall while the wealthy suffered. This guy, by the way, made 200 grand last year in speaking fees alone. He lives in a $2.3 million home in Virginia. When he talks about income inequality, he's talking about theory. When working families talk about income inequality, they're talking about choosing between groceries and medicine.
For the richest. So you can see every income group did better under Trump than Biden by a wide margin. That's the story.
I think when you look at them, they're all something, but this one chart really says it better than anything. If you look at this is great.
Because the numbers don't say it, it's the chart. So the Heritage Foundation, which is known for Project 2025 that wasn't supposed to go into effect, Steve Moore helped write sections of it. The goal is to eliminate the Department of Education, privatize Social Security, gut environmental regulations, and give massive cuts to corporations. And with the passing of the Big Beautiful Bill, every single one of these policies is wildly unpopular with the American people. So instead of defending them honestly, they send Steve Moore to the White House with fabricated charts to convince you that everything is wonderful. They want to cut your Social Security while telling you the economy is booming. They want to eliminate overtime pay while showing you fake income statistics. They want to deregulate the banks while claiming median household income is rising. That isn't economics. This is marketing. This is a $100 million lobbying operation disguised as policy research. And the most insulting part, they think you're stupid enough and I'm stupid enough to fall for this. They think you'll see Steve Moore's charts and forget about your credit card bills, your student loans, and your rent increases. So here's some real numbers Steve Moore doesn't want us to see with a simple Google search anybody can find. Housing costs have increased 47% since 2020, so obviously it's more than one administration's fault. Healthcare costs are up 23% during that same time. Childcare costs continue to go up. College tuition is up 19%. Meanwhile, the wages for the bottom 60% of workers have barely kept pace with inflation when you account for all of these essential costs. The richest 1% of Americans now control 32% of all wealth. The bottom 50% control just 2%. That wealth gap has grown both under Trump and Biden because neither administration has been willing to fundamentally challenge the systems that create this inequality. And going back to Steve Moore, he's actually had Midwestern, smaller papers tell him that we're not going to run your economic predictions anymore because he's stating outright lies. He's been ridiculed so many times about like terrible predictions, especially in Kansas with the tax hikes, and he thought that would, with the tax cuts that would fix everything, which is absolute disaster. And this is what, the presentation really tells us. It tells us that the people in power think you can be manipulated with fake statistics and theatrical presentations, which wasn't even that entertaining. It tells us that they would rather lie to our faces than admit that their economic policies have failed working families for decades. 73% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. 40% can't afford a $400 emergency expense. Millions are rationing insulin and skipping meals to pay rent. Steve Moore knows these numbers. Donald Trump maybe knows these numbers. Always had a silver spoon, you never know. But instead of addressing them, they give you a show. They give you charts with made up data and tell you everything is fine. The question isn't whether Steve Moore is lying. The question is whether you're going to let them keep lying to you. Because the truth is out there, and it's a little bit more complicated and a little more urgent than anything you'll ever hear from a Heritage Foundation presentation. So this is what resistance looks like. This is what speaking truth to power sounds like. And this is why they're so afraid of anyone who's willing to do it. This is Lies of the Orange Era. I'll catch you next time.
You built your throne on fake gold, fake stats, fake pride. Now the whole world's watching you crash from inside. Talk big, but your walls made of lies and tweets. I'm the voice of the people, bringing fire to the seats.